Good evening and welcome to SEC Baseball Reaction. I'm Chris Lee, joined by Graham Doty, and here very shortly, Dylan Kelly, as we get set to recap weekend number 3 in SEC Baseball. Our channel is always presented by FanDuel. Last I checked, you can get odds on a bunch of SEC teams as national title favorites, including LSU. I think it was plus 600 last I looked. Mississippi State was around 1,500. That might be getting a little better after this weekend. Anyway, lots to talk about here in weekend 3 of college baseball. Not a lot of teams came out unscathed like last week, and some teams didn't come out well at all. Looking at you, Vanderbilt. But it was an interesting weekend. I think we learned some things in the SEC.
Yeah, well, we knew we would, right? We knew this would potentially be a measuring stick weekend. There he is. There's Mr. Kelly. Celebrating your dad's birthday. How was the birthday?
So it's this week, but we came down here 3 weeks. So it's on Thursday. 65.
Yeah.
65 for Mr. Kelly. Congratulations.
That's as many games as Graham did this week.
It was anniversary time in the Lee household.
How many years?
Which I remembered when my wife reminded me in our hotel room at 8 this morning. We were getting ready for travel ball tournament. So I'm usually pretty good at that, but not this year.
You forgot? You forgot?
Yeah, I never forget those things. Like I don't even have to write it down. I just remember it. This time I did not.
How many years?
18.
Congratulations. Yeah.
Thank you. So anyway. Been a busy weekend. For full disclosure, I think all of us were traveling. And so we're going to kind of divide and conquer tonight. I did not get to watch nearly as much baseball as I watch on a given weekend, but we have tried to scour the box scores, and we will contribute where we saw games. But first, before we do any of that, Graham, our title sponsor for baseball, HOMEFIELD Apparel, man, they do some great work. Tell us about them.
Yes, they do. Based out of Indianapolis, Indiana. They got over 150 different colleges, university, whatever your favorite team is. They got you covered. They make phenomenal stuff. It looks good. It's comfortable, kind of retro throwback things. They just look phenomenal. So I got SEC stuff. I got non-SEC stuff. I'm just a massive fan. And if you want to check them out, the website is homefieldapparel.com. Again, they got over 150 different colleges and universities. I'll place our order here in the next few days. So we'll be rocking the HOMEFIELD Apparel stuff here shortly.
Nice.
Gentlemen, let's see. We've got, let me pull up the document. Make sure I get this right. What do we have? 6 teams go unbeaten this weekend?
Did.
Yeah, let's see. Texas was one of them. Kentucky was one of them. Georgia. Let's see. Where are the notes? This is why you have notes and have them pulled up when you start the show so you can avoid these things.
LSU, Georgia, Kentucky.
LSU, Georgia, Kentucky.
Mississippi
Missouri,
State would have been.
That close.
Yeah, correct.
Arkansas also close.
Texas.
Alabama?
Did we say Texas?
Yeah, and A&M, let's see, A&M did lose one, and they're playing one. A&M's the only team that hasn't finished the weekend right now.
Correct.
Boy, talk about a late night for Arizona State. Do we think they'll fly back tonight?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, boy.
You do?
I do. Those books have been booked long in advance.
Florida. Florida's another one. Florida only played 2, so it didn't come to mind.
Yeah, that game today got canceled.
Yeah, 2 really good wins for the Gators. Graham, I'll let you start us off. Where would you like to go first?
Oh, man. Well, lots to talk about. I guess we got a lot of Texas fans in the chat, so we got to dive in there. First of all, this event in Houston, I think they do a really, really phenomenal job. Hey, round of applause to the Houston Astros. Thank you for putting this on YouTube for free. When I was watching the Texas Baylor game, there were like over 10,000 people watching it on YouTube alone. So the product was phenomenal. Shout out Brett Dolan. He was doing the broadcast. He does the Arkansas TV stuff. He's phenomenal. Longtime Houston Astros broadcaster. But going to Texas, number one, congratulations to Jim Schlossnagle, 1,000 career wins. He's one of 7 active head coaches to hit that mark. I think we got 3 in the SEC alone now, counting him. Also, the mustache continues for Coach Schlossnagle. He, there you go. Gillen, you look like you could play for Texas with that mustache. And so the mustache, he doesn't have to shave it. I don't know if he's going to shave it for a while with the way that Texas is playing. But to me, like Texas looks, I don't know, they look like kind of night and day different from everybody else to me. Like they look really, really good in all aspects, especially pitching wise. And what caught my attention was I watched a large chunk of the Baylor game. And after the game, Baylor's head coach, who's been at Baylor like as an assistant coach or now head coach for like almost 20 years, he said in all of his days as a coach, he's never seen a team have that many pitchers at that level ever. So I think if you're a Texas fan, like you got to be really pleased and happy with that. So to me, Texas looked really good. And then the fact that Robbins hit a home run that, probably still hasn't landed yet. Did y'all see it? It hit the train at that stadium.
No kidding.
And since Brett Dolan, how many games has he seen in that ballpark? He said he's never seen a ball hit the train 466 feet or whatever it was.
Wow. But better than Jorge Soler?
How far was that one?
I don't know, but it's still far in my mind.
Yeah, that was breathtaking for sure.
As a Braves fan trying to hang on to 2011, so.
Yeah, but if you're a Texas
all our roster
fan,
gets decimated in spring training, but that's another podcast. Anyway, carry on.
Graham, to your point, man, I agree with that fully. Texas looks. I don't feel like every time I turn Twitter on or X or whatever you want to call it, I don't feel like I'm looking at them getting in fights or them doing nonsense. It's just they're beating up on somebody. Man, it's a premium brand of baseball, which is no nonsense. I feel like that's a coaching. So we talk about players all the time. Talk about Coach Jim Schlossnagle, where he went into the season. He said, "Hey, Graham, Chris Lee, this is what you're doing. This is what you're doing. Do it very well, and we're going to win games." There's not a lot of confusion on the bench with Texas, and that's why I see why you see some of the results from the product that they get on the field. But man, they were my pick to win. I think they were they all our picks to win the whole thing this year because they look every dollar worth.
One of these is not like the other, and that would be Mr. Chris Lee.
I picked LSU before the year, but I looked at it and I thought Texas was close. And right now, Texas is the better team.
Right.
And there's not really been a lot of debate in my mind for a couple of weeks now.
Mm-hmm.
And not that LSU is bad. In fact, there were some good things about LSU this weekend, mainly involving William Schmidt, although the offense kind of no-showed again, which that's a little bit uneven. But, yeah, Texas it's got answers everywhere. And I'm trying to look. I don't think anyone's come within 3 runs of Texas or under that.
Now, Baylor.
No, Michigan State got them 3-1 there. But, they haven't even played a 1-run game yet.
Now, Baylor had chances. Baylor could have made it interesting. But, again, the pitching is what separates Texas apart from several teams, in my opinion.
Yeah. Do you want to hit LSU for a minute?
Yeah, go ahead.
Since I mentioned them.
Totally.
Yeah, I think the big thing to me, like they're still playing. They've got another game tomorrow. And the bats just didn't show this weekend for whatever. Again, I was not able to watch a second of that because of my schedule. But the thing that stood out to me, guys, was William Schmidt was good again. Good might not be even it. I would say dominant is more like it. On Sunday, he is, to me, one of the biggest wild cards in the league coming in. I said, hey, if William Schmidt is what people think he is, look out, because this LSU team is really, really talented. Now, they have leaked in some other places, their bullpen most notably, but they got a great outing from him. And then on Friday, Kason Evans gives him 5 1/3, gives up 2 runs on 2 hits, did have 3 free passes, but struck out 10. And then Gavin Guidry was nearly unblemished in 3 2/3 relief. He's been phenomenal. To me, if you had those 2 guys going, and then Cooper Moore on Saturday, who's been very consistent going deep into games, whatever concerns we have about LSU's bullpen, I think are going to be okay because those guys can get so many innings. You take the rest of the staff. I think they've thrown 19 guys. Find a half dozen out of the remaining 16, and you're more than good to go.
Yeah. I think. Go ahead, Graham.
I was just gonna say, before I turn it over to you, DK, but to me, like it seems like LSU, what makes them good, they're not playing up to their ability right now, but they're still just finding ways to win, and they're winning in different styles, different fashion. So as long as they keep winning games before they just kind of settle in and really figure it out and play up to their potential, I'm sure Jay Johnson is just maybe not the happiest. Man, their midweek loss, his post-game presser, like he just looks so down and depressed. And then for them to turn around and win every game, they play tomorrow too now, so they're playing 4 games, counting tomorrow. So I just think if you're LSU, like obviously you'll take the win, stacking wins, and they're just too talented. They'll figure it out, but the bats and the offense, they'll come around. Like it might not have looked how everybody anticipated it would this weekend just due to the competition of who they played, but still like uber talented. They're going to be just fine.
Yeah, to that point as well. I think we're going to get this Texas LSU, like who's number one, who's the best, back and forth all year. I feel like, and I said this earlier, everybody's going to throw their best jab at LSU. And I feel like every out-of-town team has. So then they played Milwaukee, best jab. I mean, they played this weekend, best jab. It's just teams are trying to beat LSU. And I'm not saying every team is trying to lose, but I'm saying they're putting a little extra emphasis on maybe, hey, we throw this guy usually on Saturdays, but we have a chance to win tonight on Friday, where they might, do a little bit off script. I think that's what they've got, but they just keep finding a way to win. I don't think that they're playing like this, like Excalibur talent, but I know that they're finding ways to win, and that's a sign of a good team too. So we got one side, LSU, a little bit wonky, and then you got another side, you got Texas, where you don't hear a peep from them, and it's 8-0. So both sides of the horse here.
Yeah, Cooper Moore was great again too. By the way, I mentioned him, but he went 7 2/3, and Devin Sheeran got the save in that Saturday game, which is kind of interesting because he was the guy that got from Mount St. Mary's in the portal 2 years ago. I don't believe he threw a pitch a year ago, but that was a guy they targeted as we think he can be a dude. And sometimes you come back from those arm injuries, you miss a year, takes you a little bit to round into form. They've got the luxury of depth to where they don't have to rely on him the way a lot of teams that would have a Devin Sheeran would do. But him getting a save there was kind of interesting. So anyway, Dylan, you're next. Who would you like to hit here?
Let's talk about I would like to do a little bit of a blend here. We could stay in the state of Alabama. I know Auburn played darn good baseball this weekend, man. I know that they maybe lost a close one on Friday, but like we talked about, seeing – the signs of a good team is how do you respond? That's what I care about, right? Because it's easy to lose in the midweek and then respond in the weekend. But, man, when you lose that first game on Friday night and then come back and win the next two is pretty impressive. So I think the stat was they've won 11 straight series, if I saw that correctly, if you guys saw that on Twitter as well. This is probably dating back to last year as well. Man. So, yeah, man, they've won.
Wait. Auburn has? Is that what you're saying?
I think so. Maybe
excluding the postseason.
Yes,
it's got a regular season.
Yes. Excuse me. Yeah, correct. I thought about that too because they lost in the regional. So that was my one stat. I thought that was pretty impressive. And then we'll go back to Bama as well. Beat Oregon State today, and I even got my Alabama T-shirt on. Look at this guy. He's playing baseball here. So I don't know who's that sponsor, but we need to get them on, Graham. So I'll have to do my own homework on that. But they just look like another good team. Two of those. It's going to be a fight for Alabama this year. I'll tell you that right now. It's going to be a tight race between those two ball clubs. Auburn's pitching looked great. The hitters really took off, and I know that's what Butch has been wanting from them, where he needed more juice, and Bama's just kind of settling in to what I think collectively what we all thought they were going to be. Man, I was pretty high on them. I think we were both talking about, or all of us talking about, Flat Bill Rob Vaughn down there. So I like the way they both played this week. Did you guys happen to see any highlights from them?
Yeah, I caught Auburn. So let me ask you guys this: will we ever get to a point where nobody overreacts to a game one loss, or is that just is what it is?
I think that's an old stereotype, Sealy.
Man,
I have a theory on this. I'm gonna run it by you guys.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
What you got?
Were you Major League Baseball fans like for several years before you were a college baseball fan?
Yes, we both grew up 90s Braves, baby.
The 90s Braves.
Yes,
but
Healy
were
was
you following
the 80s Braves?
I think I'm just making sure you heard me. Were you following college baseball at a high level when you first became a baseball fan?
I would listen to Dave Neal on ACC Network on channel 48 in Roswell, Georgia. Every Sunday they'd play a day game because Georgia Tech would be on TV. I digress.
Okay, so my point is, you were when early in your fandom you were following the SEC.
Correct. Yep.
Graham,
in college, competitive college baseball. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Graham.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, of course, like the Pat Harrison Ole Miss days, going to the ballpark before Mike Bianco. But I was obsessed with the Braves in the 90s.
Yeah. See, I was not into college baseball until I'd been a major league fan for many, many years. And I think like if you didn't follow college baseball and you just grew up a major league guy, I think the way that those two groups of people sometimes process it differently. Mm-hmm. Like if you followed major league ball, like college baseball, we kind of almost read a football mentality into it that like, almost like an Alabama football. Like if you're a dominant team, you just line up, put your 9 against their 9 and you think you should win every time. We know baseball's not that way, but I think you understand it better if you followed the major league game long before you got into the SEC or the college game. Does that make sense? Like, I think you process it differently.
Totally.
Like even as bad as the 60, what was it? The 62 Mets, 61 Mets, whatever they were, 61. Like they still won 40 something games. Right.
Correct. I would say, Sealy, to your point, and I agree with that. I would say in pro baseball, after playing it, there's more games, right? So when you look at college, if you lose that first one, it feels like it's a big letdown. So you have to, obviously it's just a smaller sample size, but you're right. I agree that the mentality in pro ball is, hey, if you lose one, hey, we got tomorrow. Tomorrow's a new day. College baseball, it feels like hey, we got to pour everything into these 3 games to sacrifice or to be have a sufficient weekend.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and fans just freak out over one game.
I know.
This means we're not clutch, or it means whatever. Yeah, I'm circling back to where you started.
Yeah, it drives me crazy. It's like, okay, Auburn lost by a run on Friday night. There's 2 more to go.
Seriously,
what they just handle business. To me, the big thing for Auburn, you get Renberg back, and he looked good. I mean, he had 4 RBIs in their 2 wins. Their offense looked good. I think their offense is the strength of this team. Chris, I know you're big on Chatterton. He was awesome in relief.
Good.
2 2/3 for Chatterton, 4 strikeouts, didn't give up a hit. If he turns it on, that's an even bigger weapon for Auburn. But the atmosphere was great. That ballpark is really phenomenal now. They put a ton of resources into it. So it's really turned into a home field advantage for Auburn. Auburn is going to be just fine. They win this series, and this is something for them to build on before we head into SEC play. But I just think the game 1 was a major, major overreaction. But this is a solid series win for them.
Well, game 1 we talked about Friday, and like I watched a lot of that one, and Auburn was cruising, was up 5-0, and they brought in, who was it? It was one of their premier relievers. Let me check their roster, and I'll remember exactly who it was.
Who are you talking about? Are you talking about Nebraska or
Auburn? No, I'm talking about Auburn's bullpen Friday. They brought in Garrett Brewer, who's been their closer and has been pretty good. And then Brewer started getting hit. I think that outing got extended a little bit. And I think Butch Johnson, I'm not going to say he got caught flat-footed. I don't know if that was fair, wasn't like locked into who they had warming up. But the TV guys said they were not planning on pitching Hetzler that night. I think because of workload, maybe earlier in the week or whatever. And
Correct.
so Hetzler had to come in unplanned and maybe, I don't know if he was hastily warmed up or not, but I just know it didn't go like it usually goes when Ryan Hetzler pitches. And sometimes you just have one of those where you're in control. One of your key bullpen guys doesn't get it done, and you're kind of scrambling to find an answer. And Nebraska was just hitting the cover off the ball that night. And that's a pretty decent team too.
Correct. And I think that, like we said, the baseball season, it's all about experiences. So I feel like they've already played 12 years of baseball. They've had a walk-off. They've had a couple dropped plays. They've had some errors. They've brought a reliever in when he's not ready. I don't know. No disrespect to them. They just have had a lot of different game situations that I think will help them when we get to conference play, because you know how that goes too, where all the MLB managers, they're old. Why are they old? Because a lot of them are old or have been old because they've seen a lot of baseball, a lot of different situations. So I think that this Auburn team and Butch being at the helm is going to play a little bit better. I mean, the walk-off was pretty sick this weekend too, where they were going nuts. The play at the plate was sick. So they just have experienced a lot of things right out of the gate that, as we see from Mr. Thomas here. So, I mean, I like their club, just like you said.
Interesting. They got Guevara. He's been rotating between third and short. So he's been third really from day one, but a lot of shortstop this weekend. Be curious to see if that sticks moving forward. To me, he projects more as a third baseman. Something to watch moving forward for them.
I know we did hit Alabama briefly. I didn't get to see any of that game, but I feel like Alabama is very stealthily playing some really, the series, stealthily playing some really good baseball right now.
Seeley, I'm going to lead you right into your bread and butter here. I would say the same thing about Vanderbilt. Now, probably didn't look good on paper, but I appreciate some of these teams playing very top-tier talent. Now, I think all of these, now that we have these conference weekends where you can go to Houston or go to Dallas and play, I think it's super helpful for a lot of these teams. But I know Vandy didn't look great this weekend, but they played some darn good teams, man. They're playing Oregon, they're battling. I don't know. I just like that. Alabama played some good teams, and then Vanderbilt, in my opinion, played some good teams as well. So I like that.
Yeah, they but by the way, back to Alabama for just a second. Zane Adams wasn't as good as he's been. They get beat by Houston today. And let's see, what was the line on Upchurch? Okay, Upchurch only went 3 2/3, so he'd been doing better than that. Evan Steckmesser, one of their better relievers, wasn't good. But Alabama have been playing well. I think Vandy's a different discussion, to be honest with you. Vanderbilt's got some stuff. I mean, the power. They hit 1 for 35 with runners in scoring position this weekend. Now, I think Stevie Wonder could go to the plate, swinging a stick, and run into a couple of hits on accident. So that's just, I think they can hit the ball, and they just didn't have a lot of breaks this weekend.
Totally.
But my concern and you've heard me say this for 3 weeks now, they're not throwing strikes. They're not throwing strikes. Their bullpen, and it's their old guys too. It's their Kranzlers, their Cybers, the transfer from Princeton, Jacob Faulkner. They are walking, hitting a ton of batters. And it's not like effectively wild either. Like, okay, you walk the bases loaded and strike 3 out. Like, they'll give up a big hit in the middle of all that too. Now, look, I don't think their bullpen could possibly be any worse than it's been. I think, that doesn't mean they're any good. I'm just saying, like, even, with the problems there, like, I don't think they could get much worse. But I mean, they're losing to the good teams, and that's their problem. And like, they are cleaning up in these weekends against Marist and people like that. But even then, they're having issues at times throwing strikes. And I think they're bigger concerned. I'm really waiting, and I'm sure they are too, to find out what happened with Austin Nye, because he's their best starter. He's a first rounder if he stays healthy. He threw, I think, 12 pitches on Saturday and then left the game. And there's not been an update. I think he was in the dugout today. didn't have any things on, so maybe it was just precautionary. But his velo was way down. He was sitting mid to upper 90s last week, and he was lower 90s Saturday. So, he already had one TJ surgery. Hopefully he's not headed for another one. But I think Vanderbilt's going to hit. But, man, I'm telling you, their pitching is well behind all these teams we've talked about so far. Now, again, they got guys on the shelf that can get better. Like they haven't thrown Miller Green or Aiden Stillman or Matthew Shorey. That's their three best lefty arms. Those guys could all throw 40, 50, 60 innings for them this year if asked. And they haven't thrown a pitch yet. So let's wait for final judgment until they get them back, which hopefully is soon. But right now they got big issues.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Dylan, 2 questions. Chris has been on this. Vandy hasn't been able to locate and throw strikes. How do you improve that and get better as the season goes on?
That's a good question. That kind of leads me back to my point, and then we're going to go back to Chris's point. So we're going to go backwards and go forwards. I think that they've been playing some teams that are probably just straight up better than them, which is very hard for me to say against Vanderbilt. Now, maybe they're trying to do a little bit too much, or maybe they're trying some things throughout these games. Maybe Corbin's obviously, trust me, I've been around Tim Corbin, and so has C. Lee, and all of us have been. They want to win every game. They want to win every pitch, every inning, every water bottle squeeze. They want to win it. So maybe they're trying some things, figuring out, hey, who we got now. I know that he's seen them practice for 6 months. They've played. They've worked out. He's seen it. To that, I think it's complementary baseball. I don't think it's – gosh, when I think about these Vanderbilt teams, it's usually good hitting and good pitching, and then a gravy's good defense. It's always been that recipe. Tim Corbin likes to do the little things. I mean, it's the 30-minute ground balls in front of the dugout. I mean, watching them take in and out is pretty electric. Everybody knows where to be. It's very impressive. It's very pleasing to the eye. So I don't know. I think maybe he's trying to figure out what kind of ball club they got, but it's hard to figure out what kind of ball club you got when you can't throw the ball over the plate. So, and that's exactly what C. Lee said. That's a big problem because these teams that they've been playing aren't going to get any easier when this conference play starts. So maybe figuring something else out, maybe looking at a different visual as a catcher. If you couldn't land the curveball, it's too high. Maybe looking at the catcher's mask, just some small things. C. Lee's watched a little bit more of it, but when you look at those numbers, the walks, the hit by pitches, and then the big innings is what's killing them.
Yeah.
And the second thing I got, how much of an impact, if any, is it? They're the only SEC team that's going out west. Like SEC teams don't go out west really in anything, and Vandy does this in baseball. How challenging, if any, is that?
Yeah, I agree. Maybe, like I said, I don't ever. As a former player, it's easy, in my opinion, to question somebody. Tim Corbin's not on that list where I'm questioning him. Maybe he's preparing them. Maybe they're going to get, a late round super regional. It's going to be on the West Coast, and he's going to be like, I told you, we were here earlier this year, and now we're back. I don't know. I could see him doing some methodical stuff like that. I don't know. I'm with you. Maybe the weather wasn't good, but I think maybe he wanted to test his team early. I would, as a human being, I would rather be tested early than be tested late. So I already know what's in the barn is my opinion. Trying to figure that out last minute's no good. I'd rather get my teeth kicked in early, and then we can make adjustments quickly. So I guarantee they're going to have a pitcher's meeting on Monday afternoon. It's going to be about strike percentage, and trust me, I bet they'll light it up this weekend. So they make adjustments quick. But the West Coast trip is definitely an oddity. Sealy would know more, and they don't go that far west.
Yeah, well, I mean, look. Everybody knows the stats about flying and road trips, and it affects your performance. And I think for them, it's double because like that you go to class there, like they don't get a pass on going to class. There's no online classes. There's none of that stuff. So they always feel like they start playing ball better about a week after exams are over. But the issues for them have been the issues all year. Even in some of these blowout games at home against overmatched opponents, they're still having issues hitting the strike zone at times. So to me, it's those things didn't help, but they're also not the reason. But hey, now you do know, like how many times have we seen a team just run like a buzzsaw through teams and come into SEC play on a 13-game winning streak, and it falls apart quickly.
Correct.
When you go from lightweight to heavyweight.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, they know they have a very good idea of what they need to work on. It may be as much as any team in the league, but they've got a long way to go to get there. We got a comment, a super chat. By the way, thanks to the Auburn fans. They were showing up for the super chats tonight.
Heck yeah.
Wayne brothers. We have not really talked about them much.
Well, they're playing way more now than they were at the beginning of the season.
I think that's the thing. They just weren't on our radar. Like, we knew who they were, and I think one's a year older than the other. But I guess I'm just sitting here thinking, okay, well, they're going to get Rembert back and some of these other guys, and I just didn't really, they would have good games, but I didn't know it was going to be a carryover the way it's been.
Right.
And they look good for Auburn. Sometimes adversity lends you opportunities, and it's done that. It's given them some depth that they didn't know they had.
Well, I mentioned Guevara playing short earlier, and the reason why they're doing that, one of the brothers plays third, the other one is in right field. The one that's in right field, I mean, he had a monster weekend. He had 6 RBIs in a game this weekend. So, to me, it feels like Auburn may have the best underclassmen talent of anybody because they all play, and they all play at a high level, it feels like.
Okay, Graham, is it your turn to pick next?
Sure. We can dive into Mississippi State because I think they had a really, really good weekend, and they are a nail biter win away from going undefeated in a win against UCLA. Before we hopped on, I was watching O'Connor's post-game press conference, and man, he was hot. And like he flat out said, he's like, I'm pissed because we lost. And so if I'm a State fan, I watch that. I'm like, okay, like, that fires me up that he's, they lose a nail biter at the very end there, and it's already eating at him. So State offensively, I think they're going to be elite. They haven't really faced a lot of adversity this season, really, until this UCLA game. And what they did, they shook it up. They finally shifted the rotation. They go with Stone. Stone started today, and since he's been so good in relief, and I thought he was pretty good against a very, very good UCLA team. I know it's early, but UCLA, I know they made it to Omaha a season ago, but they looked better than I kind of thought that they would look. Like they kind of passed the eye test. But to me, that was a fun college baseball game to watch. I think State is heavily going to be in the mix in the SEC.
I think so too. I think where you saw some of that emotion from Coach O'Connor was, man, that could be a College World Series matchup there, final, to be very honest, where, you see, I think he's maybe showing his team that, hey, these one-run games, every detail matters, where that's probably where, as a coach, I would get upset where, hey, I don't care. I would care if we lost, but the way that we lost, maybe the one-run game, or hey, we missed a bunt in the third inning, and that helped, that hurt us. So I think he's maybe showing his team we can't, to beat the best, nothing can go, no stone can go unturned. So I like the impersonation. Go ahead.
Unintended.
Yeah.
You walked right into that.
I know. I figured I was like, someone's going to say something here. But yeah, they got a good team, man. And it's easy for us to say at the top half of the SEC. I'm actually proud of the way that we're playing. And I say we as in a conference, we're playing against some of these big time teams. I'm glad that we're getting some of this exposure as well. What a ball game between UCLA, Will Gasparino, former SEC Longhorn.
Oh my goodness!
And he's putting on a show. I feel like
10.
You see
10 now.
Wild.
Did y'all see his comments?
No.
He got asked about A&M, and he said,
"Oh,
"Look,
he doesn't like Texas."
He said, "I know I'm not at Texas anymore, but I still hate the Aggies."
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
He's actually made some swing tweaks, and last year called the games at Missouri against Texas, and he had like one every day too. And he's made a little bit more of a leg kick. He's got a real freakish body. Now, when I say that, I mean like Kevin Durant, like really tall, lanky, like doesn't look like there's a lot of muscle, but he's ripped up. It's just real simple. Looks like he's added a leg kick, man, and he seems to be on time a lot.
How big were you on leg kicks?
If you were athletic enough, it was really it freed you up a lot. He looks free in the box, and what I mean by free, it's not like A to B to C to D. It just looks like it's A B C D, if that makes sense. So there's not A period, B period, C period, D. It's A B C D, where it looks very smooth. And he looks like he's played college baseball at a high level. Now he's on a UCLA team that's obviously loaded as well. But good day for Mississippi State, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Even though with the loss.
What about this comment from David Keith Williams? That's a bold statement, sir.
Which one?
They're both good.
Well,
players.
he's that's not as silly as it sounds. I mean, I don't know what Gasparino's numbers are behind the home, but I mean, Aiden Robbins has been killing it.
Yeah.
So
DK
he should get credit for 2 home runs since he hit the train.
See, let's not get started on these exit velos and how far these balls are going either.
Well, I was going to get you started on batting stances.
Okay, what do you want to know about?
I got just a personal. My son,
okay,
who's big Braves guy, does the Ozzie Albies. You know what that is?
Sure, but what side does he hit, left or right?
Well, he hits right. I don't know if I feel like Albies has kind of cleaned it up, but yeah, where the one foot is a good foot. The front foot is it's a very open. It's the most open stance I've ever seen.
Sure.
I don't like it because I'm like, you got a lot of parts to get ready for the pitch. Sure. But I'm like, I'm going to let the coach give him advice or not. And so we're still rolling with it.
Okay.
Dylan,
nice, yeah.
Dylan had that Gary Sheffield stance, right?
Sure.
Did you?
No one have a Gary Sheffield. You know what's funny? You can call me Mr. Stance a lot. I was very, if something wasn't working for 4 or 5 games, I was looking to make a tweak. So to your son, and I'll tell any young hitter this, I don't care how you start, what you do, your eyes have to stay still and your foot has to hit the ground. And that sensation of your foot hitting the ground has to literally transfer to your brain to tell you, hey, see, Lee, this is a strike. So you got to give yourself enough time. Time is a big thing. I know that we watch, Instagram and ESPN, and it looks like it's like really fast, but it's a very long process. You got to get ready. You got to see the pitch. You got to figure out if it's a strike. Then you got to swing. Then you got to make contact. Then you got to run. So doing all of those things ad nauseum is a little bit easier than doing them at see, swing, strike. That's not good.
Yeah. Now Sheffield had he wagged the bat a lot, did he not? From what I remember, like he was
like a helicopter. He was a helicopter up there.
Yeah.
By the way, just a tip: when you get contacts,
sure,
boy, you see the ball better. We've been trying to get him in for a couple of years. It is amazing how much faster he catches up to fastballs, and how much.
So he's now wearing.
Yeah, we put him in contacts 2 weeks ago.
What did he say?
He doesn't have to say anything. We can see it.
Oh, nice.
I mean,
good for him.
Yeah, I think he had one swing and miss all weekend. So
okay,
good for him.
Yeah.
I'll never forget the day when I got contacts. Like I was there for hours trying to put those bad boys in. Like it took me forever. And then obviously over time you just get used to it and it just becomes second nature. But that first day, you're just sitting there like it takes forever.
Oh, I still have to put his in for him.
Ooh,
it's an every morning thing. I know. Well,
oof, hurts my eyes thinking about
I've worn contacts since I was in the 7th grade. I mean, I am like.
Were you patient zero or what's the deal?
What's that?
Were you patient zero or
what do you mean?
Ever get contacts?
That's a low blow, man. I thought we were friends. Good grief. I wonder what happened.
I'm still here, everybody.
See what I can do? I have power here behind the keyboard. All right, let's get back to baseball. That's what the people are here for.
Let's talk some Florida baseball, man.
Okay,
they look
let's do
incredible. I always start with Sully, man. He looks like he's running a military operation down there. If you're not getting people out, you're not on the field. And if you're not getting 2 hits with a sack bunt or doing a job, man, you're off the field. So it's easy to watch. You know what the lineup's going to be. They got a lot of horses. It's once again, man, they're all these top teams that we talked about, even 1 through 12. even those mid-tier, man, they're just starting to come alive.
I watched a lot of the Saturday game. Again, why did they not try to get a doubleheader in? Like, do we not know that? I just think it's bizarre that they didn't try to do that as opposed to just like not going today. But I watched a lot of the Saturday game. So Miami started a lefty, and it was the first time that Florida had faced a lefty starter this season, and that guy was cooking them. He had 7 strikeouts in a row at one point. He retired like 9 of 10. And then like once Florida chased him, that's kind of when they pulled away and came out on top. So I was watching the game live, like when it happened, when King was on the mound, and then like Sully goes out there, and everybody's like, what's happening? Nobody was warming up in the bullpen. Sullivan goes to the mound. It is a lengthy conversation. Like umpires are everything. Like minutes go by, and then Sullivan turns around, walks off, and then King is still on the mound, and then King just leaves. And then Florida has to just send somebody out there to warm up, because you don't get a time when somebody gets hurt like that. And so everybody's freaking out, like it's blowing up on social media, like King comes out, what's going on? And then after the game, Sullivan just said it's forearm cramps, and he's just wanted to be like super careful, super cautious. What's I get? The reasoning was, he said it's been cold in Gainesville lately. I don't know if I buy that. I was in Gainesville Wednesday and Thursday this week. Boys, it was 85 degrees when I was there both days. But it is a difference. He kept talking about how humid it was in Miami. And so it was the first game they played where it was that humid. So hopefully he'll be okay. And then guess what? Ethan Surwood's had a monster weekend. So that guy is good. Newsflash.
That's right. Sully does look like a drill sergeant. See, I was right. Wes May.
Dylan, have you watched Brendan Lawson play short yet?
I did. I tweeted about it the other day. I said, if you can't play shortstop like that, you'll never play for Florida ever.
Huh. You're a fan.
I am. Did he boot a ball, C. Lee, or is this a
no? I see like little.
What's his position? Because my man can play anything, and like he played first last year. So what do you think his position is?
Well, they had the Shelton kid that started out at Bama that lit the world on fire, then came back to Florida, then hit the world on fire. Had a little bit of a down year. Then the draft year was good, and man, he was a grown man, obviously. And man, just the way the footwork is, it looks like he's been taking ground balls in a rocking chair for the last 10 years. The ball that he hits in the hole, it just looks like he had been in the big leagues for 10 years. I can't really explain it, and that's probably why I'm on the show to explain it. But man, it was very smooth. It was elegant. It was not in a hurry. It was a strong throw, all the little stuff. So let me just say this for everybody that's watching. It's all about the first step. If your first step is good, you can get to a lot of balls. If your first step stinks, it's going to be just like hitting. It's going to be a complete tornado. So the video that I saw, I only needed to see one, too, and man, it was impressive to the backhand.
You had me a ground ball in a rocking chair.
Yeah, that's pretty good description. The reason I asked, like, I've not watched him play a whole game at short, but when I watch them in bits and pieces, and I usually – when I'm watching games on the weekend, I'm channel flipping. If somebody's in a tight game, I'm leaving one game that's 10-0 for another one. But when I see him get chances, I'm like, am I seeing things? Because it looks really smooth. And my thing, and I think you answered part of it, was they had Colby Shelton, and probably I'm guessing, I don't know that promises were made, but certainly like to get a guy to transfer, that was probably part of the allure. Plus they had Blake Sear, who had played short, I think at Miami. So maybe he had 2 guys to be concerned with. But like, I watch him play, and I'm like, when you're seeing a guy whose position has been first and then third, you're not thinking shortstop, right? You're not like, you don't take a guy and, who's a corner guy and then like, oh, let's put him at short, unless usually it's a sign of roster deficiencies elsewhere. So like, and I watch him like, man, he looks really good. Am I just catching them on a good day? But I mean, I'm like, how is this guy not playing short before?
Correct. And I think Sully's a big trust guy, as a lot of these coaches are, where maybe he had to earn a little bit more trust. I don't think anybody, maybe Derek Jeter would have played over Shelton last year just because he was their guy. And I think he was a big part of their team. And then this guy slid right in. Sully likes that little fox in the hole, too. He likes those guys ready to rock. And it's been impressive. Now, I mean, they've had some good ones. Nolan Fantana was down there. I mean, they had Colby Shelton was a good player. They had Dent's kid down there too. So they always have somebody. In the state of Florida, you better have a shortstop and a catcher. With all that baseball down there, they're never ever going to be short on premier talent. Eckstein was there too. So I mean, they got a long lineage of good players down there. And like I said, they're playing well. I mean, they're doing, and when you look at it, they're not playing, Milwaukee. They're playing the University of Miami this weekend. And 8-4, they scored 3 in the 9th. I mean, it's impressive what they're doing here early. And we've all liked them from the beginning.
The other thing for them, Sullivan said Curlin quad issue, he's day-to day. So once they get him back, they're going to be really, really tough. Let me ask y'all this. I've been thinking about this a lot. I wanted to ask y'all. So pretty much any game I watched, like in these home ballparks, not these tournaments, like Miami had a record crowd, like their biggest crowd ever. It seems like college baseball has hit another gear here. Like you're looking, you see record crowds across the country. Like you got a Conference USA team that's top 10 in attendance right now in Texas, Rio Grande Valley, which I think it's great. What do you guys attribute that to?
T. Lee?
I think now, and I'm saying this from an SEC perspective, when the network came in, was that 14?
14.
I think you have a generation, at least, of SEC fans who have been used to getting to see their team now for 12 straight seasons. I mean, let's face it. When you look at attendance charts, the SEC dominates that.
9 out of the top 10.
Yeah. I think that's part of it. I think also the ESPN Plus, as crappy a job as ESPN does in covering college baseball, and as much as they like to pretend it doesn't exist until regionals, that they do provide the app that lets you watch, if you've just got nothing to do on a Tuesday afternoon and want to see Northeastern and, Marist, you can do it. That's not hurt. That's my take.
I agree. I think there's a lot of good product out there right now. So I feel like it's a fun time to be a college baseball fan. I don't think it's ever been reported as much as it is right now. Now that's by us and, other podcasts and other people, other reporters. Do I think ESPN does a solid job? Yeah, I do. They do a solid job. Would I want them to do more? Yes, everybody can do more. NHL, same thing. NFL, whatever. I'm not going to get into that, but I think it is a fun time to be a college baseball fan. These metal bats are alive. And these runs are being scored. It's fun. I think people are starting to let beer in the stadium now. So it's a little bit more of an event than it used to be where, I don't know. And I would say good weather around the United States, except for the Northeast, where a lot of these Northeastern teams are coming down here anyway. So it's early. I don't think anybody's 0-68 right now. So I think it's good. I don't have a specific stat or detail why, but people keep coming to watch it. These kids love it. It's a great time.
I think it's my turn. Let's go to Arkansas. And boy, Arkansas's had a weird week. Because to start it out, Arkansas gets beat 12-4 by Arkansas State.
Who's good, wins away.
Yeah, which is good, but I think if you're a Razorback, you don't really care all that much about that. You don't want to really lose to Arkansas State. So then Arkansas wins a 1-0 game. And again, we've talked that the lower half of the order just has not hit for them. They get to Friday. They're getting shut out in the 9th. End up losing, 4-3 or 4-2. And they use both Gibbler and Gackle. I'm like, I don't know that's the move you wanted to make there is to throw Gibbler on top of the way you're not scoring runs.
Mhm.
Well, guess what? Offense comes alive the next 2 games. I feel like Cam Kozel's the one guy that's like immune to the slump that the rest of the roster is. What he went 2 for 4 Friday, 2 for 5 with a homer Saturday, he had a homer on Sunday. I'm not sure what he did other than that. And they also got a homer from Helfrich and Stewart when they won 11-0 today. But that they got 9 and 11 in the last 2 games and shut out Arlington. Other key thing for them, we've talked so much about Hunter Dietz. He gave them 7 scoreless on 93 pitches, walked 1 guy. It's UT Arlington was nowhere near what they're going to be playing the rest of the year, but that's a guy that he's one of the biggest, probably 5 X factors in the league. Because if Hunter Dietz is a dude the way they think Hunter Dietz can be a dude, they're going to be really, really elite on the mound. And oh, by the way, Colin Fisher gives them 6 shutout again on Sunday after going 8, I think 1 batter shy of 8 perfect last week. So to me, your pitching is what you hoped, and you're hitting, and maybe it's just guys getting better from the flu. I don't know. I know it's been running through the roster, but for whatever reason, they started to hit a little bit better the last 2 days.
So I kind of think this was like the perfect storm, right? So you lose in the midweek to Arkansas State for the first time ever.
Almost lose twice.
Yeah. And then you lose to UT Arlington. And then Dave Van Horn going into this series, he said he was very, very concerned about the offense. And then you drop game 1 to a team that had won 2 games all season. So this one, like, I kind of understood why Arkansas fans were like, what's happening? What's going on? And then the Razorbacks just kind of game 2 and game 3 just handled it. Not a lot of adversity, like 11 runs on 14 hits, and then, shut them out the other game. To me, with Arkansas, Fisher, SEC pitcher of the week, what are they going to do with him? Like, is he going to get bumped up? To me, he's off to a hotter start than Gackle.
Yeah. I mean, they've just had some elite, their top 4 or 5 guys have been just elite so far.
Yeah, I think, gosh, you would really like Arkansas to kind of know who they are by now, but I feel like, and I'm not saying that a loss to Arkansas State on a Tuesday at 3:45 in the afternoon is going to derail their season. But as you hear from Dave Van Horn, we need to figure out the offense. And then they started to come alive here a little bit in some of these games, but still up in the air.
Graham, who have you got next? Or go ahead.
Where are y'all on UT Arlington's pitcher going 130 plus in game 1?
He looked strong. That kid will remember that game the rest of his life.
Yes,
He's
he will.
Probably like, hey, leave me out there. And I think if it would have been 130 pitches and he would have been down 9-0, I think it would have been like, hey, maybe we need to take him out. But what was the final of that game?
What was the game 1? Hold on, I got it here.
I got Saturday's game up here.
It was 4-3.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay,
it just seems
that was the one they were up 4-0. Yeah,
correct. Just wanted to make sure I didn't say 9-0, and the Saturday game I know was 9-0. So
I just mentioned it because like you never see it. You never see somebody really this early go 130 plus. But Dylan, you're right. Like he's going to tell his grandkids about that.
Totally, and good for him. He pitched well, and that's a lot of feel by their head coach too, as well.
Well, when Cam Johnson went, I think 107 on opening day, that raised my eyebrows a little bit. That's not something you see much, but I mean, it was the kid from UTA. Is that a deal, Graham, where he's a 5th-year senior and tops out at 87 with a fastball, and maybe can play independent ball at best after that, or is he like a dude that can get drafted?
I mean, my opinion, if he's somebody that's going to get drafted, you probably don't do that.
That's what I'm getting at. So
yeah, and maybe you don't pitch him on Friday. Like maybe you pitch him this coming Saturday or Sunday. Just give him a little bit of extra time.
I mean, he threw 8 2/3 and had 11 strikeouts. I mean, maybe he's not like a top 5 rounder, but gave himself a pretty good shot for a scout to see him against Arkansas. So
Yeah.
I agree with you too. And maybe he's in good condition too. Maybe, had a light weekend the week before. I haven't studied them enough, but good for them. Good for that staff. I mean, if you two looked at me and said, hey, we're going to take this guy out, I think I'd punch you both in the face. 8 2/3 with 11 strikeouts.
Yeah.
I'm coming
at Dylan coming out tonight. We didn't know was here.
Chris, before you move on and talk about somebody else, Quinn has a phenomenal super chat. He made a really good point that none of us brought up earlier, talking about.
Let's hear what we got, Quinn.
Baseball.
Oh, thank you, Quinn. I'm sorry I missed that. The comments are coming so quickly that I didn't see that. Yeah, I mean, I brought this up before about attendance and membership. I've said this before, like, if MLB does not play in 2027, which a lot of people think is where this is headed, are there enough people that just want to watch baseball? They're going to start watching college. Like, it's not going to hurt, right? You're not going to quit watching college baseball because MLB doesn't play.
Mm-hmm.
I'm wondering how many fringe viewers, and not just fringe viewers, but maybe guys that in May, when, I don't know, at some point in the season, when you start getting bored with MLB or whatever, not being there, do you tune in to watch college ball just to get your fix? I mean, it's not going to decrease viewership. I do wonder, and like you talked about this earlier, Graham. You said, college baseball viewership is going up in general.
Yeah.
So I do wonder, if you're a major league fan, all you got to look forward to is the next draft. So maybe might as well get a look at who your team's gonna have. I don't know. Maybe that's a reach, but
to me, it seems like Major League Baseball, especially these organizations, they get a sense and they get a feel for it too. Like, did you guys see that today the St. Louis Cardinals, they issued a promotion today? You can get a pass. It's like $25 and you get unlimited food and drinks the whole season.
Really?
And I think you're just going to see more teams do things like that. By the way, I think that's a phenomenal deal. Don't you?
$125 for the season?
No. $25 for the season, but you get unlimited drinks and food.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
The Cardinals are doing that?
Yep. And I just think you'll see more teams start to do things like that. Because if you're a family of 4 and you go to a game now, like, it's an arm and a leg to get food and drinks.
We go to a Braves game like every 2 years now, just because it's so dang, between the gas, the hotel, 4 tickets, parking. I mean, it's just, we'll blow $1,000 on a weekend for 2 games.
Dylan's like, what are y'all talking about?
No, I know what you're talking about. I heard you. I had to cough, so I put it on mute. Yeah, the Cardinal $29 thing looks pretty cool.
Yeah, did you see that?
I did. I saw that on Twitter. I mean, they got to do something to bring the people to the ballpark because they stink.
Yeah.
But see, Lee, I'm with you too. They're expensive, but that guy, college kids, cheap beer on a hill, they don't get much better than that. So.
Mm-hmm.
What could go wrong with that? Wes, I like the way Wes is thinking, because he's saying, hey, because there's already talk about pushing stuff back in the college game till March, which I'm in favor of anyway. But hey, do it next year. You're gonna run into starting the season before March Madness, but then you're going to back conference play up to what the Final Four weekend at that point. So, which, like you don't even play a game on, what is it, Sunday. So I like it. I think that'd be a good combo. Quinn says Rockies have a deal, season ticket for $199. Count me in, man.
The 7 Rocky fans are stoked.
My wife's been wanting us to move to Colorado to be near her parents for a while. $199 season tickets to a major league park. That could put it on the table. Not really.
But. You'd be at more games than Chris Bryant.
Oh, I would. Oh man, God, that guy. I was looking at his stats. Like he hasn't played.
Injuries, man. He hasn't
Like,
played.
has he played 162 games in like the last 5 combined? Like
Negative
total?
ball.
Hey, World Series champ.
Yes, he is. You could
And
never
got
take it
paid
away.
too. And got paid.
Yes, he did.
Yes, he did.
God,
So-
we're coming up on the 10-year anniversary of that. Can you believe that?
Wild.
It goes by fast.
It does.
That team that they have was loaded too. Okay, next topic.
They were fun. Well, I mean, next topic probably needs to be shouting out our sponsors. We've got left on the agenda Kentucky, Georgia, Oklahoma, Ole Miss, Missouri, South Carolina, Tennessee, and part of A&M. They're still going. So holy cow, we got a lot of teams to go. But let's get to those, and we may just go in alphabetical order from this point on, just to make it simpler. Graham, get us started with ROKFORM, which my phone survived a trip in a ROKFORM case. Love their stuff. You guys will too.
Yes, ROKFORM. Here you go, right here. What are they known for? This right here, magnetic case. So when you travel or you just need extra hands around the house, put your phone on the fridge. Voila! I do it with my 1-year-old all the time, especially this weekend, when I traveled so much. I couldn't function without ROKFORM. So Samsung Galaxy just dropped in the month of February. So if you're a Samsung Galaxy person, ROKFORM has those cases. They got you covered. Apple too. So if you're in the market for a new cell phone case, they also make speakers. If you're outside a lot, play golf, whatever the case, they make phenomenal speakers as well. Promo code SCC25 for 25% off.
Lovely quarter zip.
There you go.
Dan collar product. Got a lot of dress shirts, dress pants I've been wearing. Man, they fit well. They look great, and you're not going to believe the price that you paid when you get your clothes.
Yeah, here's the quarter zip right here. They're new in the quarter zip game, and unlike Chris, I don't zip mine all the way to the top. I love the shirts. I love the pants. They make ties. You can dress to the nines. You can dress business casual, whatever the case may be. They got you covered. I love them. Wrinkle-free, stain-free. Your boy had 4 games in 4 days in 4 different states. Guess what? He wore a lot. And collar. Look good. Feel good. They got you covered. And as Chris said, price phenomenally. Great customer service.
Hey, you know what they say about quarter zips? They say 2 to 3 inches unzipped is the way to go. I'm right on that. Hey, the people who know these things, according to the internet, that's what they say. So who are you to laugh at my idea? What are you, like the fashion police?
Yeah, your ticket's in the mail.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm gonna do what I do. But hey, all kidding aside, was it SEC 16 get you 16% off your order? Like, yep. I'm not kidding. Like when I got my clothes, like how is this all that these things cost? And then you get the discount on top of that. They are phenomenal products. So is Icon wallets. My new wallet. Took that with me this weekend on the road. You're going to love your Icon wallet when you order it.
Yes, you are. Father-son company. They make several different. Here's the bread and butter right here. So they make several different pins, whatever you're into. They got tons of college teams. They're working on trying to get all the SEC teams. Different styles, different colors. They're known to be thin. You can't really feel them in your pockets. They just do a really good job. That's what it looks like with all your cards right there. If you're in the market for a new wallet, and who doesn't have a wallet? Everybody has a wallet, right? So yes, you need a wallet. Icon Wallets is your place to go. Promo code SEC 16 for 20% off.
And it's Icon Wallets. So make sure you do that. But love my Icon wallet, and you'll love yours when you get it too. So help out the folks who help our shows and buy their products. While we were at it, let's get back to it. Georgia was the team we were going to go to next. I watched some of Georgia and Oakland Friday. Joey Volchko had a pretty good start, gave up 3 earned runs in 5 innings, but pitched better than that. Just had some dinks and dunks and some defensive mishaps that weren't errors, but, defense didn't help them out some cases. But they get that one 16-7. Georgia hit what? I think 6 home runs in that game. Daniel Jackson got 2. We haven't spent a lot of time talking about Daniel Jackson, but that guy, I don't know what the total is, but he's got to be at the top of the leaderboard or close to it in the league in home runs. I'm guessing he's ahead after this weekend because he hit one Sunday in their win, 6-0. Trey Phelps homered today, also homered on Friday. He is really scorching the ball right now. That was a guy we circled as an X factor who is starting to do Trey Phelps things from 2024 when people were talking about him as a potential first rounder for 25, which didn't happen because he didn't play that well last year. But anyway, he's back doing those things. And I think, again, Brendan Hudson had homers all 3 days. We don't talk about him a lot. Henry Allen hit another home run on Saturday. And then the pitching. Caden Aoki goes 6, I think, scoreless. Yeah, it was scoreless because they got shutouts the last 2 days. And he strikes out 6, and then Zach Brown is kind of an opener, struck out 7 and 4 as Georgia blanks Oakland the last 2 games. Georgia, guys, been super consistent lately.
So here's where I am with Georgia. I think we all kind of figured that they would just dominate this weekend, and guess what they did? So it's kind of hard for me to figure out, like, we all know they're good, but when you just destroy somebody like what they did in game 1 and game 2, it kind of makes it hard to be like, okay, what are they going to look like in a tight game? And really the game today, this was the closest game they've had in a while, because going back to last weekend, they just run ruled Sanford. So today they win 4-3. They put up 8 hits, but only the 4 runs, and they got 2 homers today. So at least today you kind of got a sense and a feel of what they would look like when there's a little bit of adversity and a little bit of pressure. But to me, Georgia looks really, really impressive just with all these newcomers. And remember, they're doing all this without Kenny Ishikawa.
And they also had a tough midweek as well. They played Troy pretty close to it. If I stand corrected, please let me know. Yeah, I mean, I don't really have
lost
much
that
on,
one. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, I don't have much to say. They got a bunch of guys that hit the ball over the fence, so that kind of goes in waves. Trey Phelps has done a great job for them. There was a sweet swing where he pulled his hands in and kept the ball fair down the left field line. They're a good team. I'm not going to read into them too much. Let's get to conference play. That's where Dylan Kelly is at right now. Let's get to some conference play. Let's see somebody play. Let's get this ball rolling. I appreciate, maybe keeping some of the games at home, going to a tournament, but let's quit goofing around. Let's play some conference ball. But they have a good team, so I feel like I've said that about every SEC team we've said.
Let's go Kentucky next. Kentucky played the same game with 3 different starting pitchers. Basically, they beat St. John's 3-1, 3-0, 3-1. Jackson Jelkin on Friday, electric again, strikes out 8 and 7. He gives up 1 run, but that was unearned. Jack Bennett comes in, gets the save. Ben Cleaver, I don't know what's up with Ben Cleaver. Keep meaning to ask. Maybe someone in the chat will know. Cleaver only went 3 innings, didn't give up a run. He's been on the tighter innings limit than the other guys in that rotation, which is weird because he was like so durable. He could get you into the 7th and 8th with almost without breaking a sweat a year ago. But anyway, he was good. Their bullpen, Connor Madison, who I think went to Grand Canyon a year ago, was great again. Jackson Susie, I guess, is I don't know if they have a closer, but he got the save Saturday. And then Nate Harris did Nate Harris things. He goes 6, allows a run, and then strikes out 9. The lineup wasn't much this weekend. Tyler Cerny hit a home run. I think they've only got 4 all year. They moved Jay Starnish to left on Saturday. Don't know what's up with that because he's usually been in center. But, guys, I mean, Kentucky not scoring a lot of runs, and I'm a little concerned about the offense. I guess they're going to get Tyler Bell back soon, I hope. I haven't checked an update on that in a couple of days. But, man, the rotation has been about as good as anybody's.
It really has. To me, Kentucky, they just know their identity. Look, St. John's isn't good. They only have 1 win all year. But to me, Kentucky, like, they had more than 3 stolen bases in every game this weekend. So I think they ended up with 12, if I'm doing the math correctly off the top of my head. So that's their identity. Play good defense, steal a lot of bases, and just manufacture runs. And the fact that they know their identity this early, I think it is a good thing for them. Also want to say congratulations to Coach Mingione. Career win number 300 this weekend as a head coach at Kentucky. So congrats to him.
Yeah, I think those are all great points, Graham. Like I don't have much on Kentucky. They're playing their brand.
The Sooners dropped the game. They did that today in a 7-1 loss to Gonzaga, but other than that, we're pretty good. The bullpen kind of blew it today, which I feel like the bullpen's done that a couple times lately. But other than that, Friday they win 14-4. I think that was a run rule game. They walked 12 times in that one. Saturday, LJ Mercurius, I think third straight great start for him. 7 innings, 9 strikeouts, 1 run, just 1 free pass. Trey Gamble just feels like he and Dayton Taki and Brendan Brock are just every weekend they're hitting bombs and getting on base umpteen times. I mean, it just felt like this was kind of a replay of the other Oklahoma series this year where they're on base constantly. And the starting pitching's good. And, the bullpen is pretty good, even though it kind of blew one this weekend. But, yeah, I mean, Gonzaga is not a pushover generally. I don't know how good they're going to be this year. But the WCC's got some teams that are more competitive than most of the teams in the league are playing on these weekend series. So, to me, Oklahoma, hey, look, you've only lost 2 games. One was at Arizona State. You played a tough schedule. I mean, Oklahoma right now, if they stop the season, is hosting regional guys.
Totally. Great. I was going to say that, and they played Arizona State. And like we said earlier, when teams lose, I want to see how they respond. They lost Arizona State the first game in the midweek. Then they win the second game. Then they win the first 2 against Gonzaga. I'm assuming that they had to throw some guys that they haven't thrown on the very back half of this day. If I was a good coach, I am a good coach. I would throw some guys. I would throw some guys.
And modest too.
I would throw some guys that needed to get some work in too. So obviously wanted to win today, but been a long weekend for them, man. They've been on the road too. I feel like they're moving and grooving and shaking. They're my underdog pick, my super chat pick, whatever you want to call them. But man, they're just playing consistent baseball.
I think with Oklahoma, 2 things stand out. They got an SEC Pitcher of the Year candidate in Cam Johnson. He was really good again this weekend. And then they are going to contend to lead the league in stolen bases. They had 9 this weekend. It just feels like that's going to be part of their brand and what they do. So other than the game that they dropped, double-digit hits, double-digit runs, 2 out of the 3 games, Oklahoma looks good. Curious to see what they look like moving forward. But to me, it's getting to the point where like Skip Johnson, just death, taxes, Skip Johnson is going to have a winning record.
Preach, Graham. That guy's a beast. They got a good brand, man. It's they got a lot of momentum. And shout out to UT Rage, baby.
Yeah. UT Rage. He went third person a moment ago.
That's right.
I saw that, DK.
I think that was a shot at one of us here. I got to name names, but
oh man, that's awesome.
All right, Ole Miss. One of the tougher weekends for an SEC team in college baseball. I think Ole Miss was unbeaten coming into the weekend, right? So what happened? Yep. I think the bullpen blew a game Friday.
I can tell you what happened.
Okay.
I'll touch on the win briefly.
All too well.
Ohio State, not excellent at baseball. So Ole Miss handled them, not a lot of adversity. Here's the issue. Defense, 5 errors in the 2 losses this weekend, and then just situational hitting. Ole Miss went 0 for 18 in the 2 losses with runners in scoring position. That's the story of the weekend. Hunter Elliott was awesome, though.
He was. He looked
career high
like
11 strikeouts.
he looked like he was throwing some flago out there. And Graham, you said that last week, man. You said, hey, they're worried about defense, and it rears its head again in this weekend. And just a bad cocktail, bad defense, and not timely hitting. Good luck trying to win against anybody in this country.
I think Baylor's improved. I want to see what they do in Big 12 play. Like, I didn't realize Baylor hadn't made the tournament in 5 years.
Really?
I think they'll be knocking on the door of that this year, but like Ole Miss blew that one. You know, you give up that excellent performance from Hunter Elliott, just didn't close it. And again, it's just the defense and situational hitting. Ole Miss has got to figure out the defense. Like, it hasn't been an issue under Mike Bianco really ever. And then for whatever the reason, like the last 3 years, defense, it's just been an issue. And it was the case in the 2 losses this weekend.
Where on the field are their defensive issues coming?
Middle infield. And also just a lot of throwing errors. Like today, throwing error on the catcher. It was like Coastal Carolina. It felt like anytime they bunted a lot, and it just put so much pressure on the defense, and they just capitalized on Ole Miss's mistakes. I feel like most of the errors were throwing errors. So Dylan, I don't know how you fix that, but
yeah, I know we talked about that this week. I don't know what to say either. They're gonna need to figure it out because it's not because of lack of reps. So
yeah, I'm looking. They play Kentucky, but they avoid Oklahoma because I'm thinking like who would give them fits with that. And those
Kentucky
are your 2
will give
teams.
everybody fits with that stuff too.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Hey, is this a misprint? Like Dom Decker hit 2 home runs today?
He did. So at Murray State, he never hit a home run, and he hit 3 this week. So I don't know.
Was that a gust of wind effort, or was that just he's found
the one in the midweek in Oxford was definitely helped out by the wind. This one, big league ballpark, like he put a charge into it. So it's the water in O-Town, baby.
Let's see who's next. Missouri. We'll give that to our resident.
DK, they look good. They really good,
man. And even as an alum, I'm partial to them, but I'll also give them the business more than anybody else. They look good, man. I don't care what the field looks like. I know people complain about the turf and this and blah, 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 blah. They look good. They're playing a good brand. I know they're North Dakota State probably hasn't seen green grass in, about 6 months. So it was good to get them down. I know they kind of rallied. I just like some of the arms. Pimentel on Friday night's been a little bit of a resurgent. Ian Loesch out of the back end of the bullpen. I talked to him when I spoke to the team about a month ago before the season started. Some of these young guys are pitching well too, and some of these young guys are hitting well. So I know that they're playing well. I think it said 8 straight for the Missouri Tigers in the win column.
Is Tyler Macon still hitting like 600 after the weekend?
Yeah, and I think I tweeted this weekend, if they're going to do any damage, he's going to have to be at the top. Him and Mateo Serna have been around the block. I know Macon's a sophomore, and I know Mateo Serna's an upperclassman. So they're going to need to produce. And it's like the Braves. When Matt Olson and Austin Riley and Acuna don't play well, I just don't expect the Braves to win. So if Missouri's best players don't play well, it's going to be a long stretch.
What's the story on Macon? Because I think he was a part-timer for them a year ago on a team that could have used a lot of help. Where did the jump come?
He always gave them a surge last year. He was always a Saturday like pinch hit late in the game or start, and then he would play Sunday. It was always 2 of 1.5 out of the 3 he was in there. So that would either be a pinch hit late at bat, and they had some older ex-outfielders out there, and he couldn't really play another position. I told you earlier, they have him playing at first base to keep the bat in the lineup. Man, he gives you a good, consistent at bat. And as a former Missouri Tiger, they're not looking to reinvent the wheel. So if you do the little things Carrick Jackson's asking for, I guarantee you will find yourself in the lineup. So he gives Missouri a darn good at bat, runs well, can play a couple positions. Talk about a recipe to get on the field, right? Because some of those guys in past years have needed to get off the field.
Hitting 480 after this weekend.
Is that good?
I think that'll play. South Carolina.
Yeah,
Boy, it started well for the Gamecocks, and then the rest of the
Man.
weekend. And they didn't really hit in any of the 3 games.
No.
The pitching kind of gave them a chance, though.
They had 4 hits in each game this weekend. Boy, this was man, you can tell these two schools don't like each other. Holy smokes. Like, you talk about a football mentality. It was like this, like Backage's his comments, like we don't treat, you know, winning a game like we just won the World Series, talking about what South Carolina did after game 1. South Carolina's closer in game 1, like full on Kenny Powers. I've never seen. Dylan, have you seen that? Like mid count, just hyping up the crowd.
Yeah, and then
like
he threw like a change up the next pitch. So that was what I call a Carnival Cruise Line game. That was a cruise ship, just all the extra bells and whistles, and nobody could get anybody out or anybody could hit, and it was just a disaster.
Chris, you need to go and watch it. Like, I'm talking like mid count, hyping up the crowd.
Who was doing it?
Their closer.
South Carolina's closer.
Well, yeah, geez, it's a disaster right now. I'll say Clemson's playing a little bit better than them, but man, that's hard to watch for me sometimes.
I feel like they kind of poked the bear on Friday a little bit.
Yes, it caught my attention when Paul Maneri, and man, he it sounds like whatever comes out of his mouth is going viral. But
Steve Spurrier,
when he said that you know, their goal was to at least get 1, and you know they did it for game 1. It's like I wouldn't like that if I was a Carolina fan.
Yeah,
I don't know if many of the Carolina fans are liking what they're saying right now. I feel like, first of all, he's a Hall of Famer. He's a legend.
Absolutely.
We need to get the mic out of his mouth, dude. He needs to just stand in the dugout, wave the hand, and we move forward. Because,
like I said, this was either this week or last week. I can never remember, like, when he was at LSU, none of this happened.
No.
Now they won way more, but I don't remember him every single time he visits with the media. It goes viral.
Totally. See, Lee, my last point here is the players need to get him off the mic. So somebody in that clubhouse needs to play well. I feel like he's having to answer questions because they have 4 hits. It's like he's not up there hitting. Someone's going to have to come to the top step and say, let's figure this out here quickly, because I don't know how many more interviews I could take. Love him to death, and he's very well respected. Him and Tim and Corbin are very high up there as well. But, yeah, something's got to change because these interviews are getting terrible.
Tennessee. The Vols, I thought, had a pretty good response this weekend. That UCLA game was not interesting, got interesting, and then the bullpen kind of lit that one on fire. And then Tennessee pitched pretty well the rest of the weekend. From there, the bats really aren't hitting the way I think we thought they would, but I think, hey, Landon Mack gives them 5 with 2 earned. The bullpen was really good. Cam Appenzeller gave him 2 scoreless, got a save. So that's kind of interesting. I think he's moving into a bigger role. And then Evan Blanco, who's been a little bit up and down, was pretty good today. But I think the thing that kind of caught my eye, guys, Braden Krenzel, who's really struggled, but I thought was really good for them at times last year. Like, they went to Krenzel in some big spots late in the season as a true freshman. And I just don't think he'd been good at all in the fall and the spring from the way it sounds. But he gave them 3 scoreless to close that one out today. And look, I don't think Virginia Tech's that good, but when you're struggling, you're coming in, you lost a couple that people didn't expect you to lose last week, and all that pressure is mounting a little bit on Josh Elander, which is silly, right? But I mean, the bar was set so high that at best, you're going to come out even in that comparison to Tony Vitello, and that's like a 0.1% chance. So all that to say, like, this was a big weekend for them, and their arms really came through when their bats were just kind of okay.
Again, I just think the build up to this one, just losing 2 out of 3 to Kent State and then losing game 1 of this tournament to UCLA. Look, UCLA is a different animal now compared to anybody that they have played this season. So UCLA pulled away late, and then that's when, like, you see all the chatter, all this stuff. And then I like the way Tennessee responded. I didn't think they played their best games 2 and game 3 this weekend, but hey, they found a way to win. And you pick up victories against Power 4 opponents. I think Arizona State will be solid in the Big 12. I don't think Virginia Tech is going to do damage in the ACC at all. But hey, baby steps if you're Tennessee. I like how they bounce back against a very, very good UCLA team.
Yeah, it's going to be exhausting to do this. Like I said, Elander, Vitello thing, man. In this league, you need to go unnoticed every other week. You don't want to become noticed. Hey, what were they doing this week? And then the next week they do the same thing. If you have a bad weekend, you need to play better baseball the next week just to get them going. I mean, all three of us knew walking into that game, unless Tennessee played their A-plus game, I didn't think that they were going to beat UCLA. I mean, just right off the top with the way that they've been playing as well. So if you're in the chat watching, blogging, whatever you're doing, if you thought they were going to win that game, I think you're crazy. But they just weren't. They're not ready for that. That UCLA team's seasoned. They got a good feel of their ball club. I'm happy that they played well and then they responded, kind of like you said, Graham. I think that's important for Tennessee early in the season.
Yeah, I mean, I do, and I also think this is going to be important too. Once the Giants start playing, like once Major League Baseball gets underway, that's going to help. Like Tony V is talking to the media, which obviously makes sense. They're in spring training, but some of his comments, it's like, boy, you're just not helping Elander. And like,
you got to. What's the comment, Graham?
Huh?
What's the comment he said?
Well, I mean, just bringing up him taking he didn't like how it was reported, how he left
just
Tennessee.
At random he brought it up.
Yeah, I mean, he just brought it up out of left field, and it's like, why are we talking about this? Like, you obviously left, like you're not there anymore. Like, let's just move on. And like, he's gonna talk to the media every day, which is what happens in Major League Baseball. It's just like they need games to get going in the regular season in Major League Baseball, and I think that'll help Tennessee and Elander. Just they don't have to, nobody's gonna bring that up on social media as much or just ask him about it.
Yeah,
he'll tell you.
Odd. He will. He will. Just what's on his mind, it comes out.
Yeah, exactly right.
Which is why that town loved him, and the media loved him there too, because you showed up with a mic, you would get something interesting more often than not. Yeah. Okay, we left A&M till the last. Maybe hoping that this game with Arizona State would be over and we could recap the series for good. It's not. As we do this, A&M is leading 6-3 in the sixth and threatening to do more with the bases loaded. Let's see. Friday night, A&M gets a shutout. Shane Sadeo was great. They got Hakopian back. He had a bomb. Saturday, not so good. Weston Moss struggled, gave up 6 in 2 innings. Cole Hubert was bad out of the bullpen. Jake Dewar hit a home run for them, the Florida Atlantic transfer, and then whatever becomes of this game 3 here, which, again, looking good for the Aggies so far.
Yeah, for Texas A&M, they just look better than kind of what I envisioned that they were going to be, coming into this year. And to me, you can just tell Michael Early, like he's way more comfortable this time around. And he's learned a lot from last year's experience. So to me, Texas A&M just feels like they're really clicking in all phases. I just think offensively, they got a chance to be really, really good on offense. And again, as you said it, Chris, they got the bases loaded, only one out right now, so they got a chance to break this game open against Arizona State.
I agree with all those points, man. That offense, Michael Early is giving them a little bit more juice, but I think a lot of those guys have helped that clubhouse and helped them get off to a good start because last year, as we know, being preceded rated, A++, 1++, it was not helpful, and then the start that they got off. But I think it's going to help them this year. Usually see some dividends a couple years down the road, but man, and they got too much talent down there not to play consistent baseball.
What happened with Chris Akopian that he's not in the lineup tonight?
Well, remember he's been banged up.
Right, I know, but I mean he played Friday and hit a home run. So is it more of the same?
I don't know. Is Bo in the chat?
Well, someone mentioned it in the chat. That's what brought it to my attention.
Yeah.
And again, if you're joining me late, I was doing travel ball with my son all weekend, so I'm not nearly as locked in on a weekend this weekend as I usually am. So
said pulled, came out after the home run. He's hurt.
Golly, is it the same? Was it a back injury? I think is that what it was.
They can't afford that now. That's a first-round pick.
Oh, I know. I'm going to Google that just to make sure I got it right. I'm pretty sure he was dealing with.
I mean, if that's the case, like how long would you?
Lower back is what he said.
Those.
How long would you rest him? No midweeks. Play on the weekends.
All right, let's look at the schedule. By the way, who do they have starting at short tonight?
Yeah, maybe I like what DW.
Boston Kelder, who's been pretty good for them. I don't know where that affects them other places, but go ahead, Dylan.
Sorry, I like this DW-BTTS is saying rest them until conference. So I could see that. Backs are weird. It's obviously probably been lingering a little bit more than you think. It just doesn't pop up. But
did you ever have any back issues?
I did. One year, my senior year, right before the season, we were doing squats after practice one day and just didn't do a squat as efficiently as I should have and kind of had some back spasms and I was out. Luckily, we had a tournament get canceled due to snow. Shocker. And I just thankfully had 3 or 4 days to kind of sit there, stretch out. But that was the only back problem I had. So
A&M has broken this thing up as we're speaking, or broken it open. It's
there. It is
now. Nico Partita just knocked in 2 with a single. So yeah, I heard I moved a piece of furniture. This has been there you go. and strained something.
See, Lee.
I swear to God, I'm changing my daughter's diaper. Like it goes away, and a couple days later, I'm changing her, and I'm just fastening the thing, and my lower back feels like somebody has like stabbed me with a hot knife.
Yikes.
That's how weird backs can be. Thank
Very
God
weird.
that went away after a few days, but like,
did you get a transfusion like Tiger Woods?
no problem since. But like that was like you got to be kidding me. Like this hasn't hurt in 2 days, and I'm changing a diaper.
See, Lee, you only get one back. You only get one.
I know. I've been in surprisingly good health. I have not undergone a lot of stuff. So
you see the chat. It's all BS aside. I streamed my back a few minutes ago.
What's that?
So Randy in the chat said all BS aside.
He's right, man. You do it and you don't forget it, man. That's what killed.
Tip.
Yeah.
My one tip. So your back has discs. They're like 2 donuts, right? And there's jelly in between the donuts. Think about how many times you bend over a day. Like you're sitting in the car, you're leaning over to get your diaper, toothbrush. Whenever I get out of the car, I try to even out the jelly in the donuts. So it's like, if it's forward, I try to do it backwards. And if it's backwards, I try to do it forward. It's called the McKinsey method. Look that up, ladies and gentlemen.
Life's advice.
That's
health tips on a Sunday night.
Yeah. Why don't I get a super chat for that? Somebody, come on, baby.
I mean, backs have wrecked careers. It wrecked Don Mattingly's.
Seriously,
and that was disc related, but
Jelly
like they said,
donut.
muscles are like worse. Jelly donut. Send your super chats or your jelly donuts our way.
Whatever you got,
Take
just
either.
send them.
Anyway, parting thoughts. I'll start with you, Dylan.
Well, I think I said it, maybe fired this shot off a little too early. I'm just ready for conference play. I think I love the tournament style baseball. I think I've seen enough from some teams, what they got, what kind of brand they're going to be. Maybe one more weekend's going to fix that, maybe put a Band-Aid on it. But you guys know better than anybody else. When those SEC games start on Friday night in a couple weeks, I think I'll be pretty excited.
To me, winners of the weekend, Texas, Florida, Mississippi State, and then, kind of what Dylan touched on. I'm so ready for SEC play to get here. But again, I think all things considering, this potentially a measuring stick weekend for several teams in the conference. And I think most of everybody, passed the eye test. So good weekend for lots of teams. Want to see how teams like South Carolina respond. Remember last year, after they got swept by Clemson, it just seems like it was so hard for them to get their mojo back. Want to see how they respond after dropping 2 out of 3 to their rivals.
My overriding thought is 3 weekends in, guys, I don't remember the last time where you look at teams and you're seeing, it feels like all but maybe 3 or 4 teams in this league have 2 and sometimes 3 guys that can give you 5+. Sometimes that's 6 or 7 or 8 innings of really good ball, like 0, 1 or 2 runs, strike out 8 or 9 or 10. It feels like we're watching baseball from 20 years ago when guys would go deep into outings consistently from a starting pitching standpoint. And so I don't know if that's just the schedules. And again, the extended 2 weeks of practice in the run-up is helping that. But I don't remember the last time, like baseball for so long got to like, man, if a guy got to the 6th inning, unless he was your Friday night ace, it felt like that was a real accomplishment. I feel like some of these teams, they're getting 2 of their weekend starters, if not all of them, are doing that every weekend now.
I do think that the extra 2 weeks before the season helped a lot. You just kind of gear up, get ready for the season, and you just get more time to prepare. So I do think that's a little part of it for sure.
Yeah.
I think last point to that, I think you're right. To get through 6 innings in the SEC on a conference weekend is pretty electric. Let's just cut the crap here. If they could stay healthy, that's going to be a big bonus. Because you guys see how fast I saw the Coastal Carolina, both of some of their big time guys just go down. So if you're going to do this and play that game of a lot of pitches from starting pitchers, you better be healthy. You better be working them out. You better be running. You better be on the same page with the game plan. You better be playing good defense. A lot of good things have to go right. So we shall see.
Yeah, the other thing that does is when you can do that, that makes your bullpen extra electric because you can go with your top arms. You might throw 7 guys, 6 guys in a weekend instead of
exactly
10 to 12, which is what happens when your starters can't get deep into games. So that's going to be very interesting to see what happens when conference play starts, which, hey, we are a week and a half out from that. And, yeah, looking forward to that. We'll have you covered in that. We've got you covered in basketball with Blake and Max here at the channel, and football as it happens. We got you there too. Really enjoyed it tonight. Hope you guys did as well. Good to see a lot of our regulars here. Thank you for your super chats, particularly you, Quinn. Anyway, for Dylan Kelly, Graham Doty, I'm Chris Lee. God bless you. Have a great rest of your weekend and your week ahead. This is Southeastern 16 presented by FanDuel.